There's a bunch of leaks floating around right now for future content coming to Helldivers 2. Today I thought it might be fun to go through all the leaks I've seen or heard about all in one place and maybe just give a few general thoughts on each one. Very obvious spoiler alert by the way, so if you don't want to know about anything and just be surprised about fun new content whenever it drops, turn back now. Otherwise, here we go. The first thing we'll talk about are exos, otherwise known as Mechs, which technically not really a big leak by the way, as Arrowhead had already mentioned that Mechs would be put into the game, quote, soon after launch. The thing is though, Helldivers 2 popularity kinda exploded way after these trailers already came out, and there's a ton of players who have never even seen these trailers featuring Mechs. But anyway, even though Mechs aren't officially unlockable in the game yet, last week a Reddit user by the name of Fozzy18 shared some footage of himself somehow using a mech in Helldivers 2. The footage, which was taken down by Reddit mods but can be found elsewhere, shows the Helldiver able to jump out of and then back into a mech, which can walk around the battlefield while shooting powerful arm cannons that kinda look like the auto-cannon stratagem. In digging through Fozzy's comment history, it seems that they're not a data miner or a cheater themselves, just a regular player who happened to join the game of another player who was assumedly hacking the game somehow and calling in these mechs. Fozzy goes on to mention that the random hacker he was in a lobby with, quote, spawned in multiple types of mechs, and also that the mechs had both rockets and a machine gun. He also didn't get to fiddle around with the mechs for very long because his game wound up crashing. A follow-up comment from user Gilmore75 sent me down a small rabbit hole where I learned about all types of vehicles and mechs from Helldivers 1, which I've never played before. Seems that the machine gun and rocket mech is the XO44 model, while the autocannon mech originally featured in Fozzy's video is the XO48 model. I looked around to see if I could find any footage of the XO51 model, another mech from Helldivers 1, and while I wasn't able to find anything on that, I did find even more footage of both the XO44 and XO48 in Helldivers 2. In a video from YouTuber GameOverDio, who had found the footage on Facebook, assumedly from someone who again found themselves in the match with a hacker, the footage shows you're able to climb in and out of the mechs whenever you want, and some basic movement and machine gun fire. The footage also shows both kind of mechs like before, confirming that again there will be multiple kinds of mechs coming in Helldivers 2. Moving on, more vehicles. In that same video from GameOverDio, there is a different kind of vehicle more akin to a Warthog from Halo. Again, looking back in the vehicles in Helldivers 1, it kinda looks like the M5 APC, aka the Armored Personnel Carrier. The only difference is the original M5 had kind of a mounted dual-fire autocannon gun, while the Helldivers 2 footage seems to feature a machine gun. This new APC seems very much to handle and shoot like a Warthog. Trying to dig up more footage of APCs, I came across the following clip on Twitter from user Rebs Gaming, showing that all 4 Helldivers can apparently jump into the APC at the same time. 1 driver, 2 passengers, and a gunner. I wasn't able to find any follow-up comments from Rebs Gaming about how this footage was acquired or from who, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it was the same situation as all the other clips, aka submitted by players who found themselves in a game with a hacker. If at any point I find out new info, by the way, I'll go ahead and let you know by updating the pinned comment, so keep an eye out for that. But anyway, more from Rebs Gaming. There's also footage of a different armored personnel carrier, and this one seems much chunkier, allowing 2 Helldivers to pop up and shoot enemies while the vehicle drives around. Unfortunately, we don't really have a ton more details, like what kind of ammunition the turrets take, if any, or if there are multiple versions of these APCs, each with different swappable weapons mounted on the back, and so on and so forth. Moving on, let's talk about weapon leaks real quick. These are also featured in the GameOverDio video, but I'd also seen them earlier from a TikTok user named Mad as Bananas. First up, we have the CB9 exploding crossbow. The CB9 apparently fires explosive bolts, but players must account for gravity when aiming, meaning they'll likely have to aim above targets at a further distance. Here's hoping that the explosive factor makes it a rock-solid crowd control weapon, or maybe even able to shut down bug holes or outposts. Next up, we have the ARC-12 Blitzer shotgun, which will fire a, quote, wide burst of high-voltage electricity that arcs between units. Kinda seems to me like it's a shotgun version of the arc thrower stratagem, a weapon I kinda like, even though it can accidentally team kill your friends a lot. Next up, we have the SG-8P Punisher plasma shotgun. This just seems like a straight-up shotgun version of the Plas 1 Scorcher primary weapon currently in the game. I actually really like that gun in combat combat, although you can definitely kill yourself with it due to the exploding plasma rounds up close. I'm actually thinking that a weapon with those kind of rounds at close range could make it really likely for you to hurt yourself, so be careful with that. Next, we have the R-36 Eruptor, a bolt-action rifle with shells that explode shrapnel in all directions on impact. Can't help but notice that this bad boy has a medium armor penetrating ability, which is hella enticing as armor continues to be a pain to deal with. A fun pain for sure, but a pain nonetheless. No word if this rifle will be hit scan or projectile. I'm hoping hit scan, but time will tell. Moving on, not a new weapon, but a new stratagem of some kind. The Displacer Pack is apparently a new backpack that will teleport a Helldiver before they've taken a final blow, and I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really good. We also have an updated B1 supply pack, which I'm kind of confused about because we already have a B1 supply pack. Could just be a buff to the existing pack, which would be great.
Moving on, enemy factions and other stratagems. A post from Reddit user Stodel contains a long list of unreleased in-game assets taken from the current version of Helldivers 2. Stodel is adamant that he is not an expert in doing this kind of stuff, but managed to easily check the in-game files with just Notepad and the game installed. He shares an entire list of unused stratagems that exist in name only, so you can basically let your imagination run wild as to whatever things like the Bug Thumper are. Would be cool if that were a Dune reference that lured Terminids, by the way, but I digress. Also in that list is a new faction, or maybe I should say an unreleased faction, because apparently this was a big part of Helldivers 1, the Illuminate. The Illuminate was a highly sophisticated civilization that called themselves the Squith. They were so technologically savvy they were capable of creating both neural networks for space travel as well as weapons of mass destruction, which is why they were targeted by Super Earth to begin with. There's currently a line of NPC dialogue in Helldivers 2 that references the Illuminate, as you can see, essentially referring to how the Illuminate were supposedly vanquished in Helldivers 1, but apparently we didn't do a good enough job if these in-game file names are to be believed. Scrolling down into the comment section, a reply from Master Bottle 10 mentions a rumor that a playtester of the game mentioned that a third faction was basically already done, and they were surprised that they weren't in the game at launch. With potential hints already in game, such as the dialogue option and the following mention of the Illuminate in the in-game news report, it would seem likely that they might be appearing sooner rather than later. Finally, from the same Reddit post, a whole bunch of potentially new or unreleased weapon names. Again, no images, so you'll have to let your imagination run wild. I'll go ahead and link that post down below in the video description. If I find any additional leaked or upcoming content, I'll be sure to update the pinned comment down below with that updated information, so keep your eyes peeled. But in the meantime, please like today's video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And by the way, if there's any kind of particular videos or content you'd like to see made on Helldivers 2 specifically on my channel, feel free to let me know what you'd like to see down in the comment section. Alright, thanks for watching. Peace!